Welcome. I will be kind of reacting to Sharpe's Enemy. This is a bit of an experiment because a lot of people were requesting this show, but of course I've already seen it. So let me know in the comments below if you enjoy this format or not. I might do a few more in the future. I chose Sharpe's Enemy partly because I haven't seen this in many years. My grandfather was a huge fan of the series, so I remember sneaking up to the attic with one of the Sharpe books and some snacks and holding up reading, and also watching the series with him. And this particular episode, watching it as a kid, there is a scene that I recall that probably was not appropriate for me at that age. I have, however, read the book much more recently, so I'll likely have a few book nerd rants. Should be fun. The second reason I chose it is because I recently acquired this book. And those of you who are Sharpe fans probably recognize it because Jason is amazing and he has been offering signed copies. Yeah, you can just contact him and he'll send it to you. Well, I mean, obviously you have to pay him money. But I'm telling you, it's an amazing book. It's hilarious, but also really thought-provoking because of what's going on right now in Ukraine. For those of you who aren't aware of it, Sharpe was primarily filmed in the Crimea. So Jason, aka Rifleman Harris, has a lot of thoughts on the whole Soviet Union Crimea mess, which is unfortunately incredibly relevant again. Bringing things back around, he mentioned that Sharpe's Enemy was one of his favorite scripts because Harris got to actually do some stuff in it, and it was fairly close to the book. Yes, he is also a book nerd and goes on rants about how they changed things, which I also appreciate. Without further ado, let's get going. Remember that this is not a market substitute. Please support the original. I love the Star Wars crawls they always give us at the beginning to orient us. Boo! Boo! Rubbish! Oh, this must be when they take the town and they're pretending not to be deserters. Here we go.
Escort for Lady Farthingale, sir.
Who's Lady Farthingale, you friggin' fop?
Yeah, that scene I remember from the books. It was a bit longer, but obviously they had to cut it for time.
Lady Farthingale, sir. Worth a bit of money, I don't wonder.
How long you been married, then?
Never?
So the shine's still on it, eh?
I came to pray for a child.
No. Okay, this is the first big deviation. So, villainous as he is, he loves his mother. Like, obsessively. It's kind of weird. She tells him that she's here to pray for her mother, who is ill. So he is immediately taken with her and is like, oh, she loves her mother too. And then he kind of stops his evil plans and is like, no. We're going to kind of protect her, even though we're going to ransom her. For her to say, I'm here to pray for a child is correct for the other women. There was a place in the convent where you touched a particular stone where the Blessed Lady had stood, and that's where you prayed for a child. But she came for a different reason. So I'm not sure why they changed that here, especially since that's why these two connected and it ended up almost saving her life. So it's kind of an important change. All right, but I love her dress, gorgeous.
I am cooking poulet with oil and garlic and some fine red wine.
He is a cook, so he knows what he's doing, but the backdrop of him describing these dishes while that's going on is like really creepy. I like it. Yeah! That was a great tracking shot.
Why did the scum want me to send Sharpe, man?
Damned if I know, sir.
You'll be damned if you don't find out, then!
The other is why you're taking so much trouble over Sir Augustus Farthingale.
But he wrote a book.
He's a rich man, sir. Let him go himself.
This letter is fresh from London, man. Anything we want, we have to ask Sir Augustus.
I shall hound Captain Sharpe, sir.
This change I don't mind, because this is a set of characters that Sharpe fans are already familiar with. So with a quick setup scene, they point out why this becomes so important. As fond as I am of the book scene where Sharpe gets his promotion, which is amazing, yay! And also the assignment, I think it's okay that they changed it here. This is an adaptation edit that I think was pretty good. Oh. Oh, Harper. That was a great scene, but also kind of ironic considering that the original Sharpe actor was injured while playing football and had to leave eventually. Paul McGann. He had a better visual look to Sharpe, but I actually prefer Sean Bean because I think he has more of the spirit of Sharpe, if that makes any sense, even though he's not dark-haired. For anyone unfamiliar with it, there was basically an off-camera game of football that got a little bit out of hand and injured Paul McGann. And then they were all the way out in the Crimea, so he ended up eventually just going home. But I have run into a few people who thought Sean Bean was originally cast. Sometimes the second choice is the better one. As much as I admire Paul, I just don't think he's Sharpe.
Sergeant!
Oh my God.
Stand up, fella.
Oh my, Harper's the only one in uniform. Kind of. They're gonna think he's in charge.
Sergeant Patrick Harper, sir. 95th Rifles.
I heard you swearing, Sergeant Harper. How dare you swear in front of an officer?
Oh, Jays, I'm very, very sorry, sir. Must just have sort of slipped out, so it did.
Who are these scruffy savages? Are you the fellow that Wellington raised from the ranks, Sharpe?
Oh dear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, well, I always thought it was a bad idea, and now I've got proof of it.
He's kind of that character you love to hate.
Right hand up to God, Sharpe.
That's your left hand, sir.
I swear to God, Sharpe.
You mean I
It's your
missed
left
being
hand,
made
sir.
major?
But don't worry about that for now. Right now, what you have to worry about is how to get those horses from the rocket troop.
Oh, the rocket troop. I bet none of them hit.
10 salvos and you've missed every time.
The rockets are like stormtroopers.
I'm dirty, deaf and damned if I want to see another rocket.
Oh, I'm quite fond of them actually. Ooh. Ah! Teresa. Oh, I see what's gonna happen. Harper, time to leave.
Hello, Miss Teresa.
Bye, Harper. That was a pretty dramatic entrance, although much earlier than she shows up in the book. But I don't care. I love her.
Nan and I are engrossed in your book. Practical instructions to the young officer in the art of warfare, with special reference to the engagements now proceeding in Spain. Well, given that you wrote this work before your arrival in Spain, it shows remarkable confidence, huh?
It shows remarkable confidence. Oh, that is such a beautifully veiled insult.
Not as to accuracy, sir, but they play merry hell with the morale of poorly led men, sir. The sound is shocking.
Scared you, did they?
I was terrified, sir.
The Spanish call it the Gateway of God because it controls a pass between Portugal and Spain.
Very important pass.
The need to observe proper standards, which are not necessarily his by birth.
Wow.
We know who is a man of manners and who is a man of the mouth. And you, Sir Augustus,
Teresa.
are a man of the mouth. Take my advice and shut it before somebody shuts it for you.
I love her.
Just above her, the lily white thing.
Here's a health to the bird in the bush. Here's a health to the jolly dragon. For we've tarried here all day to drink down the swan. Love the music on this show.
No, Harper.
Harper. I like that they brought Teresa in earlier. This is great. Plus, it will make her death more meaningful later in the episode.
Listen to this, lads. Soldiers should not form liaisons with local women in a warm climate.
Teresa is so fierce, a fighter, and also willing to make a little miniature rifleman doll for her daughter. Like, it's just so cute. They haven't shown a close-up of it yet, but I remember in the book it had like all these detailing.
I told him you were stone mad about Miss Teresa, so I did. He seemed very happy to hear that, and he rewarded me with a silver shilling.
Here's Harris.
I'll trade you a Voltaire and a filthy book by the Marquis de Sade for your Sir Augustus, sir.
Done, Harris.
Yes.
Hey, bring it back.
Of course, sir.
I hate that fellow Farthingale.
Same.
No wonder Harper was so happy.
Because he will get a child?
Because he got a shilling.
This scene got toned down. I recall one scene where one of the women was being branded completely naked. They would just be like hot pokering her. It was really bad. Not something they could show on TV. I'm actually kind of grateful I didn't have to watch that because it was hard to read. I can't even imagine seeing it. Eesh.
Oh, yes, sir. Carry on, Captain Sharpe.
Sharpe found his hat. We always get one scene an episode where he actually has his hat on.
To you ladies of Spain, we'll return once again.
It's interesting that Spanish Ladies has so many variations to it. For example, you have the naval one. Farewell and adieu to you Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu to you ladies of Spain. And then here you have the version that they use in Sharpe. Farewell and adieu, you Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu to you ladies of Spain. Same general song, but it's slightly different. Fascinating.
Support or smoke fire is not to be permitted. It should be carried. Thanks, Francis.
Flanders, Portugal, and Spain.
Yeah, they're really emphasizing Teresa in this episode. I like it, because otherwise she would just come in at the end. Really good choice. See, sometimes I actually enjoy changes in adaptations when they're done well and with purpose. What a shot. Aw, poor little dog. Will the French colonel be there? Aha, here he is. Fortunately, he's as intelligent as Sharpe, so it'll be fine. I like the French sergeant. He and Harper kind of become friends.
Come on, Sharpe.
You know that, officer?
He has a frying pan. That's awesome. Sharpe is Rapunzel right now.
We're here on the same mission, monsieur.
Mm-hmm.
This was their idea of a joke.
Ooh.
Let us not fight.
Mm-hmm.
Let us eat.
Actually, I would trust his cooking. Oh, I like the set.
I am withering in my bloom. Lost in solitary gloom, Colonel Beauchamp.
She took quite a risk giving them this clue, because if anyone else had been familiar with the poem, she'd be in a lot of trouble. I've always admired her character. Really courageous. And clever to come up with that as the clue.
Look out, Lady Farthingale!
He's about to get a shock.
Show him your goodies, milady. Stripper!
If you want to shame somebody, shame me.
This did happen in the book. However, it was from a lady of the night, shall we say, who was paid, and she did it willingly. They slightly rearranged the scene so that it would add tension, which makes sense. And it also shows Isabella's character because for those of you who have seen Firefly, she's basically a companion, extremely high-end lady of the evening. She used to give salons, things like that, and then the highest bidder or someone she just liked would end up with her that evening. There's a story where she was offered huge amounts of money by one chap, but she ended up choosing a young midshipman because he impressed her. So she's an interesting character because normally she chooses her companion, as it were, and stepping in like this to save the other woman who is not used to displays of this nature was really quite kind of her. I actually really admire both of these two women, the characters in the books and here, how they rewrote them.
General Wellington promises that he will hang every man who does not present himself at our outpost by New Year's Day.
Oh, that's straight from the book. Walking out like a boss.
I would die for her.
Oh.
I must go. Man without
Ugh,
rights,
not that guy. Yeah, break his glasses, Sharpe.
Who's the English officer?
You are the Sharpe that stole an Imperial Eagle at the Battle of Talavera?
I found it in the middle of a French column. Where I come from, it's a case of finders keepers.
And we witnessed here the beginning of a beautiful enemy ship
But they look like lancers.
from a distance.
Could even call them cavalry to pinch.
The plan is forming.
Would you like to watch us have another go at that barn?
No,
sir?
no.
Well, we almost hit it this morning, and I had one ready. No! No!
Oh no. Oh, scatter, everyone. I love the rocket troops so much.
Disciplined troops desert, sir? Nonsense.
Mark me close, Colonel.
Mark me.
Mark me.
Sorry.
Lost in a convent's solitary gloom.
A detachment cannot be led by a captain. It must have a major in command.
Here we go.
May I have your word that you will support fully the major in command of the detachment?
Absolutely, sir. Institute and appoint you to be major in our army now in Portugal and Spain and blah, 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 blah. You may borrow mine, sir.
Yeah, the watch thing was in the book too. It's a pretty decent adaptation so far. Yeah! Sweet William! She has the best musical theme.
I don't know, Mr. Sharpe shot 3 dragoons out of the saddle in 30 seconds, do they, Sergeant Harper?
They certainly don't, Mr. Harris.
Shot an officer, just for having dust on his buttons.
Men are dirty, sir. Rifles are clean.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what makes a good soldier, Captain Frederickson?
Keeping his mouth shut when he's asked unfull questions by a superior officer, sir.
Love him.
A shilling says you can't beat even a raw recruit to the chosen men.
Come on, Perkins. Uh-oh.
Perkins put his bullet straight through the same hole made by Taylor.
Oh, nice.
Sweet William.
He's awesome. I love his just random appreciation of architecture too.
That's no work for a soldier.
He's going to turn and help, I feel like.
You'll get plenty of time to show your charm.
See, they completely changed the relationship between these two. He was completely taken with her in the book, and it was like almost reverential because of the thing with her mother. That's the main thing I don't like about this adaptation, because I thought that was an interesting choice that showed her intelligence, because she also kind of played along with it and egged him on to the point where she really showed how skilled she was as a companion, basically. Like Inara was able to convince people to do things. It was almost her power that she was able to see a situation and then change it around to how she needed it to be. Whereas here, she's beautiful, but she's just acting like a regular woman, I guess you could say, not like the highly skilled courtesan that she was in the book. Happy Christmas. I wonder if we'll get the holiday tree, because they had some German troops with them and they actually made a Christmas tree. I hope we get that. Does this episode count as a holiday movie? Wait, talk him down.
Enter Kelly.
Yes.
Pass, friend. Right to fall in, Kelly. Thank you, sir.
Oh, he's joining them. Good job, Kelly. Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
When Sir Augustus took a fancy to me, my duke managed to pass me off as some kind of distant relation. By the time he found out I was a whore, it was too late, and he had to keep my little history a secret.
Okay, that's a cute story. However, what? She technically is not his wife. They changed that. He fell in love with her, and normally she doesn't have long-term, I guess you could call them contracts, but he has a lot of money and was like, if you stay with me and pretend to be my wife and are basically exclusive, I will pay you all this money. And she was like, all right, I'll go with it for now. But they both knew from the very beginning what was going on, and it was all just an act. Whereas this way, it's an interesting story change. I don't know why they edited that. I always thought it was really interesting that the whole thing was just fake from the beginning.
You loaned it me for the night.
Might I suggest a similar arrangement in regard to another piece of his property?
That's also a change. They never actually did anything because she was like, I basically signed a contract and I like my money, so I'm not going to get involved with you, even though she flirted shamelessly. Like, that scene was pretty accurate to how she behaved, but nothing ever came of it. I mean, they had been together previously, obviously. I don't know how I feel about that change. The chemistry between those two was outstanding, however, so I like that part. To me. Oh no. Go Harris. Take out your teeth too. Yeah. Oh no. He died honorably though.
Chosen man, Kelly.
Oh. Oh no, is this how Teresa dies?
Save yourself! Shoot him!
Shoot Lady Farthingdale and I will hand you over to Captain Sharpe.
No. Interesting that they had the two of them together in that scene.
You never stopped me from doing what I must do.
I would have liked to express my regrets to Major Sharpe on the death of his wife, but not when his wife was the Spanish whore who waged war on France.
Yes, the glasses. Stomp.
We shall discuss terms immediately.
And blackmail time. Those two would have been good friends in any other circumstances.
A foot sharp, 100 men, but where's your horse and artillery?
The rocket troop. Yes, queens.
Fire!
I'm guessing that they're going to be simplifying the battle a great deal. It took up a large chunk of the original, and there were multiple fronts. There was like the tower, this big guard tower thing, and then the convent, and then the castle, as I recall. And they had to split into 3 groups, and then Sweet William was up on the ridge. So like they were in the brush, just sharpshooting. And there was this whole elaborate plan where like Harper was hiding under this pile of skulls, which was just amazing. And then he came bursting out in order to take out their artillery and basically blew up the entire convent. Anyway, it was highly complicated, and it would have taken an enormous budget to actually do an accurate representation of it. And Sharpe Films had like no money at all. So they couldn't even afford running water. I'm not kidding. They even went on strike once where they were like, I've had it with having like allotted buckets of water every day. I want to be able to flush the toilet and things like that. So they like congregated out in the hallway, and they even had a little mini toaster and tea going. Read this book. Anyway, so I forgive the fact that this massively complex battle sequence could not be translated onto screen with the budget that they were given. I'd highly recommend reading the book though for the tactics that Sharpe used. Brilliant. And that scene of Harper emerging from the skulls is probably my favorite in the entire story.
But Ducos says he has no cavalry. Maybe you have misunderstood, my dear lady.
Oh, she didn't.
Mon Dieu.
Team Rocket Troop. See, with that many people, doesn't matter if they're inaccurate, they'll hit something. You're probably tired of me bringing up the book at this point, but just deal with it. They dug this trench so that the rockets fired not like that as they are here, but the trench, they basically fired straight. So they would just barrel through the line. And it was ingenious because Sharpe was like, oh, we're digging our graves from the initial attack. And he like covered up the whole thing. I just love Sharpe. He's so smart. I wish they could have brought a little bit more of that into this. As fun as it is to see all the characters that I love, it would have been nice to show off a little bit of his tactics here. That was such a satisfied.
I'll be damned if we don't reach the moon someday with one of your blasted rockets.
Oh. Okay, now we get the will Sharpe find his hat again before the end of the episode, or was it just that one scene? Still no hat. Ooh, they put this in.
You can't kill me.
Oh, are we going to get to see his daughter? Did he bring the little doll? He ripped the doll up when he saw Teresa, but I didn't see him do it in the adaptation, so maybe he still has it. They didn't show it, but I'm going to headcanon that he gave her the doll, the last thing that her mother made.
King George commands and we obey over the hills and far
What a way to end it. Poor Sharpe. Since I did most of the commentary as I watched it, there's not going to be really a lot that I'm saying here at the end, but I hope you enjoyed this format. It was certainly interesting getting to rewatch it after so many years. And despite all my book nerd rants, I really did like it. And I just love Sharpe in general. I mean, the series and the books, they're different, I get that. I like them both. I think that Sean Bean and the entire cast just do an outstanding job, especially with the limited budget that they had. If I had unlimited funds and a time machine, the first thing I would do is to go back and just like throw billions of dollars at the Sharpe series so that they could really execute the books as they were meant to be, with massive battle scenes and things like that. A lot of YouTubers have silly little names for their viewers. I've never really done that because it's not my thing. But if I were to come up with a name for the viewers, it would probably be the chosen viewers. So if you're one of those people who does enjoy YouTubers giving you a nickname, there you go. You're a chosen viewer. Thank you for coming along and putting up with all my Sharpe fangirling. I wish you all the best.